Well, thank you again for joining today. I'm Robin Desposito, and I will be sitting in today for Sal Sylvester. Elise is on the call as well, so she's going to chime in with anything that I have forgotten. And if you have a question, feel free to jump in and ask that on the chat, and she'll be monitoring that and teeing those up as they come along. So let me start with our presentation. Okay. Get this going. Oh, there we go, backwards. Goodness. Oh. Sorry, technical difficulties right off the beginning. Okay, the roadmap for today. On the agenda, we're going to start by talking about some of the history and just how we arrived at Coachmetrix 2.0. We'll review the changes that are taking place in this initial release, and then talk about next steps, the support that's available to you, and answer any questions. So with that said, we're going to, again, take a quick moment, just look at the history and how we arrived at 2.0. You all are familiar with this slide.
I'm sorry, Robin, if you're sharing screen, I'm not seeing, I'm just seeing the gallery. I don't, maybe that's on my end, I don't know.
Oh,
yeah,
you're probably right. How about that? Thank you for jumping in. I would have just gone along. There we go. Can you see that? Perfect. Okay. Cover the agenda, talking a little bit about our history. As many of you know, our founder, Sal Sylvester, developed Coachmetrix nearly 7 years ago. And there were really three key challenges that he was looking to address. First and foremost, accountability and transparency with the development plan. And we were able to accomplish this by creating a dynamic online action plan, which is really the foundation for the pulse feedback. Secondly, just lack of data, being able to provide or being able to prove the value of your coaching and leadership development. And then finally, as our clients were starting to leverage technology, they kept saying, why aren't we coming along? Why are we tied to paper and pencil and paper? So we needed to evolve and start leveraging technology more. So Coachmetrix is made for coaches by coaches. And this is really, we take this to heart. We so value the input that you have, and it really does help our chart or our course forward. We're committed to delivering a cloud-based platform that consolidates all of your coaching needs. It's easy to use, and it measures the impact of your coaching. So we're going to take a moment and really just dissect each of those. So the cloud-based platform, again, leveraging that technology, it allows you limitless possibilities to support clients throughout the world. Easy to use, that really kind of goes without saying. It is our greatest opportunity for us to keep it simple, yet continue to develop flexibility to accommodate different methodologies. To consolidate all of your coaching rules, all of your coaching tools. We're really truly focused on what you need in order to grow your business. That doesn't mean we are going to be all things to all people. Let's be clear about that. We're really going to focus on our core competencies, but make sure that all of your coaching needs are met. And then finally, and probably most important, the ability to measure the impact of your coaching. It really provides you with the data to present to your client that speaks for itself. It not only validates that the participant had a successful outcome, but it's the entire supporter community that really reaffirms that success. Okay, so with that said, Coachmetrix 2.0. As I mentioned, we'll be starting with a fresh look and feel, new search capabilities, and the building blocks to improve our navigation to streamline how you create and share resources, collections, assignment, and discussion templates. I will point out that much of the functionality at the lower levels will really remain the same as it is today. So it's not going to transform how you utilize Coachmetrix. It will evolve over time. So this is just the first initial release, but one of many to come in the next year. First and foremost, we've got a new design, fresh look and feel. We wanted to modernize Coachmetrix. It's been since 2016, since the original platform was designed, and we know it was time to make better use of the space and update the overall look with sweeping changes to the platform. You'll see cleaner lines, updated buttons, and better positioning of elements. Oh. Sorry. We're going to drill down into a specific area, and that's in the pulse feedback comments. So you'll see we refined the display. It's cleaned up a bit with clearer labels, and it eliminates any kind of ambiguity and provides you more visibility into the process. You'll see that with here, it will provide those specific dates for when that initial survey was sent, and then those dates for the reminder. It will let you know the success rate of those returned. So in this case, it's 2 of 5. It will provide that average supporter score in addition to the self-assessment score. And then, as I mentioned, those will all be labeled and clearly identified. So again, there's minor changes, but those that will really help in providing you that data and that clarity in what it is that you're looking at. Next on the project page, this is probably the most significant difference that you will notice. When you sign into Coachmetrix, we removed the tiles. We made them a shaded list view so that you can see more projects in your immediate view without having to scroll down pages and pages, especially for our heavy users. In addition, you can now archive. So as you can see this active projects, there are currently 7. You have the option of viewing those active projects, those that are archived, or the entire list. You also have the option of searching specifically for each of those projects that you are looking for, and go directly to those. Next, we improved the navigation. You'll notice this before and after slide. It is the tabs that we used to have displayed there on the left-hand side of the page have now been moved to the top. So you might ask, why do we do this? And the short answer is to pave the way for a smoother future navigation experience, especially as we add new features throughout the coming year. We'll be modifying the navigation process so that all of the coaching features, the resources collections, assignment and discussion templates all flow more consistently. Next, we're going to take a look at the library. So when we first launched Coachmetrix, we started with just the resources feature. It allowed you to create and share content with your coaching clients and online participants, but we've since added collections, discussion templates, assignments, and as a result, had great suggestions provided by our subscribers. We built out all of these new features independently, and thus some of them did not necessarily flow consistently. So now all of these features are consolidated within what we call the library. When you click on that, you have the option of showing all of those features, or you can go directly into each of those specific areas. In the future development, you will see how we modify these so they all flow the same. You can pick and choose whichever feature works best in which application, and they will all function just the same. The one that we focused on specifically in this iteration was the assignments. We simplified it to eliminate the milestones and instead just make it a simple to-do list. You can still add multiple coaching assignments to a participant or to multiple participants. You select those assignments, you select the participant, and then you can populate a due date as needed. In the future, you'll be able to share assignments directly from the participant's account. And then finally, we've enhanced the support. When you click on the support dropdown there, select a user guide. We have built out 2 different user guides, one for the coaches and one for the participants. This is this will be based on your role. It will be something, our goals are to make it easy to use and always available. So the content has been entirely refreshed, and it will include many video tutorials that we've been asked for many, many times that will be very short and easy to use. You always have the option to reach out to the support team directly through that little bubble icon. That will remain the same as it has in the current platform. Let me take a quick moment to pause. I went through that super quickly. Any area that you would like to revisit or have questions about?
I just had just a couple of comments. I'm assuming that everything we have in our resource library bin, that all gets ported over automatically, correct? Absolutely. You don't have to do anything. Okay.
Everything that you have in your current platform will automatically transition. Yes. So there is absolutely nothing for you to do.
Great. And when will we see this? When do we have a date yet on this changeover?
We do. We are targeting May 6th. So
coming up.
Susan, super segue.
I haven't frozen to death yet.
Here we go. You're still fully functional. So as I mentioned, we are targeting May 6th for the launch. Some of the support and resources that are available to you on May 6th, as well as on the 13th, we're calling it office hours. So we will host a webinar that you can jump on, super informal, come in and get your specific questions asked, or we'll be doing informal tutorials just to help you acclimate. And the dates and the sign up or the web information will be delivered in a newsletter emailed next week. In addition, starting May 9th through June 3rd, you have the option to schedule a 15-minute personal coaching session. So if you want to just revisit how this impacts you, you've got some specific questions, you can schedule those. And again, the links for those scheduling will be available next week. And the dates for that, again, May 9th through the June 3rd. And then on May 20th, we will do a follow-up masterclass. This will be our May masterclass. And we'll go into greater detail on specific areas or any kind of trends that we're seeing with the questions being asked. We will cover all of those to make sure everybody is fully versed on the impact of Coachmetrix 2.0 and how they are utilizing it.
Robin, I have a question. Could you go back one slide that showed the projects, please? Or 2 slides. So I'm curious and I know this is just a sample, so maybe it's just the way it was set up for the purposes of this demo, but I noticed that it looks like there's 2 projects, both Acme Corporation, but different functions in that corporation. So currently when I go to a project, I have the name of the company, I click on it, and then within the company shows the various different clients, individual clients. So is it the same way in this new version, or in this new version, is it all individual on the project page?
Let me see if this is a better. So today, this is how it looks. So the tile represents, you have the option, you have the full flexibility in how you name that project, if you will. Again, our guidance is you do include a company name. You might include what kind of engagement it is, and then specific individuals, or if it's a team. So you can clearly identify what that is. That will also certainly help in your search capability. If you are pulling up all of those projects for the Acme Corp, you could search for that and just have those displayed. So that really hasn't changed in this new iteration. is you still have the option of identifying, how you want to label that. My advice would be to be consistent with your naming conventions.
Sure.
But future iterations will be that you will select a project type, and that will flow into different, project plans and so on and so forth. So we'll start leveraging that, but that is in future iterations.
Okay. So if I'm following, say the project, the Acme Corp Engineering Leaders Project, it could be that label, but then within that label, I might have 4 individual clients. Is that
Absolutely.
right?
Yep.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
This is how it will look. So if you have multiple different participants, the orientation, the display is a little bit different. Mm-hmm. We're utilizing the space a little bit better than we did before, but that's how it appears. So that screen is not radically different. Just
mm-hmm. Perfect. Thank you.
Sure.
Robin, sorry, just a clarification on this one. Would the example you're showing here be of like a group coaching situation where they're working as a cohort, or could these be individual, like stakeholder-centered coaching engagements, for example? They just happen to be grouped together because they're part of the same company?
Quite honestly, either answer is correct. So this could be a leadership development program where everyone progresses along the same timeline, but it could also be a program just of individuals that are grouped together, but they are all following their own path. Again,
are they able to see each other from their view?
Absolutely not. So when they log in, that's probably one of the screens that I should have included. But no, they will only see their information and their information only. So when they log in, it's just the way it is designed today. They log in directly to their page, and that's all they see.
And in this case, would they have separate supporter groups as well?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. What other questions can I answer?
Hey, Robin, this is Samantha. Maybe just go into, because I don't use it a lot, the homework area, the assignment area, and just show us more about how that works.
Sure. So think of assignments as to-do lists. They should be short, concise. So the difference in the older version versus the newer version is we used to force you to define a milestone. So it might be an onboarding milestone, and you might have these 4 tasks associated with that. So we eliminated that. So you have greater flexibility that if you have a task that's assigned to a specific milestone, you couldn't utilize it for others. Whereas now you can utilize any of these tasks at any point in time. So you would go in, select this, click on those 3 dots, select that, then you identify the project that you would like to assign this to. You select those individuals. You have the option of populating a due date at that point in time or at a later date, and then it is populated within your participants portal. So they have visibility into it. And you can see that only you as a coach can assign a due date or modify that due date, and you as a coach can modify the assignment itself. So if you no longer, if something is no longer relevant, or if you want to tweak that task, you may do so, but the participant only sees their list of assignments and checks the box once it has been completed. So it's a really easy way for you to identify whether or not they are making progress on their specific list of to-dos and the date that assignments were completed.
Interesting. So question, so let's say I get done with a coaching client and I'm thinking about my next session with them and tools that I want to give them for the next session. So can I go in here, prepare it, but not launch it because, I might want to come back in and do more work later, or they're not ready to receive it yet? Is that what the launch date is for? And does it show up in their portal, but only I can see it?
This is in that library of material. So you could create that, but you would not assign it to individuals until you were ready for them to have visibility to it. So yes, you could create all of this and have it in your working space, if you will. But then when you're ready to assign it to them, you click on their project and their name, and then it will, they'll receive email notification that they have assignments in their portal, and then they have visibility to it.
Okay. So let's say, so what I'm thinking, what I'm asking for, I don't think is actually happening. So I have stuff compiled in my library. I want to bring it over to Susie Q because she's going to need it for next session. But I don't want to give it to her yet. I just want to see it in her file, if you will, so that next time I go in there, I go, oh yeah, this is what we needed to work on. Let me add some more stuff to it and send it off. So I can't bring it into her account yet in advance.
Correct. So if you populate it into her portal, she will see it as well.
Okay. All right. Good to know.
If you assign it to her. And that's the same with any of the other features. If you assign it to a specific individual and populate it within their portal, they will see it.
Okay.
Great questions. What else can I answer?
I have a question, Robin.
Okay, fire away.
So some coaches have a long list of projects. So is there any change to the functionality with being able to not having to scroll so far or seeing things that you don't want to see?
Yeah, so the best way today, and again, this is probably just our first iteration, but is the ability to archive projects. So what you are seeing here is the list of all active projects. So you have the option of displaying everything, and those that are archived will be shaded a little bit different. It will also identify those. But so you can just see your active projects, you can go into those that are archived or see the entire list. We are working on a future feature that will allow you to file and sort. So I'm hoping that is in the very near future. But today, this is how you can parse out that list.
What about, you had said, Robin, that resources was in the library. We were going to be able to better organize what was in the library.
It will be the same functionality. So it will apply probably actually more for resources, because we have coaches that have extensive, Samantha, you being one of them, resources that are there. So you will be able to sort those, file those. I don't know exactly how our IT group is doing it. It might be a tagging convention, but you will be able to group and sort those. So those lists will not be as unruly as they are today.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Any other questions about the release itself, or how you can get the support once the release has happened, or any of the timeframes associated? And
just recap for me what office days are again. I get the scheduling. Yeah, tell me a little bit about those.
So they are May 6th and May 13th. I don't know, at least could you look at the calendar? I know they're two different times. We're trying to provide a lot of different options to accommodate people's schedules. They will be an hour-long session. Most likely, a lot of our support folks will be on that, as well as Sal. We'll answer questions, give demos. It's really just a opportunity for you to hop on, hop off as you would like. You're welcome to join the entire time, or just come and have your question answered.
So a more deeper dive into the tool, but it's more one-way communication, where the 9th through the 3rd is more of the personal coaching.
The 9th through the 3rd will be a one-on-one. Yeah. You will schedule your own dedicated 15 minutes, and we can, help you navigate through the new platform. and the last is, I should have pulled this up, just frequently asked questions that we've had in the past. We mentioned, thank you, Susan, you know, is there anything that we need you all to do? And the short answer is no. Everything will be seamless for you as well as your clients. You'll just hop on the 6th and you will see those screens that I displayed today. So it will really just be, the most striking will be that new look and feel. The functionality itself works just or very similar to what you are working with today, with some improvements throughout. We will be providing some regular updates on what is coming. So the future development, we've got a lot planned in the next 9 months. The difference is we're going to be very specific in targeted areas. So rather than a release that covers a broad range, it will be very targeted and it will be delivered more frequently. So we're targeting 6 to 8 week releases. So they might be a little bit smaller than a big full-blown release that it encompasses a broad range. But you will see those communications coming out a lot more frequently. That will give you specific information on what's to come. Any other questions that we haven't answered? Yeah.
Robin, could you speak toward any communication for our participants, for our coachees, anything they need to be aware of or that will be communicated to them leading up to the release?
We are working, we don't typically communicate directly with participants.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
But with that said, what we are working on is messaging that is on the platform itself. So when they log in, it will be like a pop-up that will just say, here's the new platform. It will actually probably be in advance. So they have a little warning that it is coming, and it will provide them an option to click on that knowledge base link. So that's probably the most significant. The knowledge base has always, or the user guide has always been targeted towards the coaches. They are the ones that really have to know how to use it to guide their participants. And there's a lot more functionality available to them. But now that we have segregated those two and there's a coaches user guide and the participants, it should be a lot easier for them to reference. But it really, we don't anticipate many challenges with that. I think it will be in the approach of the coach and how they take it. And just it's not a significant difference in how they will function. It's really more on the coach's side.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Sure.
Oh, by the way, Robin, I put the office hours in the chat box if anyone wants to take a look at that.
Perfect. Thank you. And as I mentioned, there will be a newsletter distributed, emailed next week. That will include all of those times, logins, the ability to schedule those one-on-one sessions, and then the masterclass information will come out in its normal frequency. We'll let everybody know about that the beginning of May. Any other questions? Okay, well, with that said, I really appreciate you taking the time to join us today. Feel free to reach out to the support team, Elise or me directly at any point in time, whether it is a question specific to this next release or anything. We love to hear from you. It really helps us gauge where you are and what you are using and not using and how we can improve on the tool itself. So we like to stay in touch. So again, appreciate your time and have a super weekend.